As the lambing season draws to a close, the puppies have changed enormously. No longer completely dependent on their mother Swift, their individual characters are beginning to show. The children have taken on the feeding role, and their interplay is an important part of the pup's social development with humans. Somewhere behind the adorable eyes lies that extra potential that will give one dog the edge in its future working life. But only time will tell which one. By the beginning of May, the lambing rush is over. Borough Farm is at its finest. The wood is in fresh green leaf, and carpets of bluebells add to the magnificent array of colour. The young lambs are growing fast. Hundreds of years ago, their only protection from the wolves that once roamed these woods was to be able to run with the flock within a few hours of birth. Now there are fewer dangers, but their play still reflects the fleetness of foot that would have been needed for survival in a past age. Lambing may be over, but there's still plenty of work for David and his dogs. Worming is an essential task if the sheep are to remain healthy. Modern farming systems whereby large numbers of stock graze in closed fields mean young lambs are particularly vulnerable to stomach worms picked up from the pasture. They haven't yet developed any form of immunity and could become seriously ill or even die if left untreated. Today, one of the more distant flocks is to be driven back to the farm for treatment. It's quite a task, and all the working dogs will have their part to play. Moving a flock of lambs for the first time, particularly on such a long drive home, is no easy job, and it can be sheer weight of dog numbers that wins the day. The younger dogs, Pip and Gale, are held in reserve, whilst the flock is moved at a steady pace, which will help to prevent any old or unfit ewes like this one from breaking away. An out-of-breath sheep will always try to run downhill and pay no heed to a sheepdog. The only way to move her is for the dog to work her gently from a distance. Young lambs too present their own challenges. They will constantly try to double back, and the services of Gale and Pip are enlisted to help prevent a mass breakout. With overwhelming dog numbers today, the job runs smoothly. The last hurdle to be negotiated is a woodland path that divides the farm in half. After 3/4 of an hour, the flock arrives at the handling pens, and the dogs take time to cool off. Working in the close confines of the pens means that Swift must have her wits about her. The ewes are still protecting their young. A snap of the teeth is usually enough to stamp her authority and deter all but the most aggressive customers. Having been allowed to rest, treating the lambs for worms doesn't take long. Whilst they are in the pens, they are also treated to prevent fly strike, the curse of the lowland sheep farmer in the warmer weather. It's a particularly unpleasant condition whereby blowflies, attracted by dirty areas of wool, lay their eggs on the sheep. As soon as the larvae hatch, they begin eating into the skin of the affected animal. The mature ewes, already losing wool from around their necks, are soon to be shorn, but the lambs will definitely need to be treated. Fortunately, a modern spray keeps the flies away for a couple of months, and then the treatment will need to be repeated. One flock completed, another 9 to go. The ewes and their lambs are quickly returned to the peace and quiet of the fields. A few sheep at the farm are kept aside specifically for training purposes. Fern is now 7 months old and her instruction is well underway. Very gradually she is turning from the unruly hooligan pup of the farmyard into a sheepdog under some sort of control. Greg knows the routine of training young dogs and maintains a circling vigil to stop the sheep escaping from the young apprentice. Fern is learning to keep her distance, to turn squarely from her ewes so as not to unsettle them, and to stop when fully in control, holding the sheep to the shepherd. With such alertness, agility, and turn of speed, it's easy to see why the sheep are so responsive to the young dog. Now there's the most difficult of all commands for Fern to master. That'll do, meaning, come here, work is over. It's the command every young dog dreads. And for a few moments, the temptation to keep on the far side of the sheep to avoid capture is too strong to ignore.
Stop, 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 stop. Aye. Hello, stop there, Fern. Aye, 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 aye. Stop. 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 Ah, stop. Hello, Fern. Ah. Stop. Hello, Fern. Stop. Stop.
But the small wag of the tail is a sign she's ready to concede, and praise is lavished for a successful training session.
Good boy, Greg, that'll do.
Fern is one small step on the way to becoming a skilled member of the working team.
Fern. Hello, Greg, dog. Hello. Greg.